Hey everybody, I'm Pagan Tech. We're here with another session of the Roundtable of Fools. Some of us are nincompoops, some of us are idiots, some of us are ne'er-do-wells. I think we got all of them today. Tonight we have Green Bear, who's up there in the corner. We've got Tommy right there, and Blingtron, woohoo! Today we're planning on talking about, actually we're not planning on talking about shit. We have no plans, we're just going to wing it and see what comes out of our foolish gobs.
Yep.
So smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to know when I come back online. Like this video, share this video. That's give you a chance to see when I come online. I don't know when I'm ever going to post anything on this channel, but hey, you never know. It's fun times for all. I do have a working video card, so there's a plus.
Yay!
Now, the host of our show, Tommy. Take it away, Tommy.
Oh, thank you. Phil is making good use of the family stream deck over there. I say.
That's right.
That's good stuff. So anyway, how's everybody doing? This is Tommy Scott. This is the Roundtable of Fools. We have all of the usual suspects except for Jerry Formal. Jerry Formal pulled a full work day. Well, a full work day for him anyway. So he is maxing and relaxing in his room, and he will not be joining us this evening. So we shall soldier on without him. I think we will survive. But anyway, so anybody who is new to this, shindig, to these shenanigans, the four of us have known each other for a very long time. We like to get together virtually and just BS, essentially, is what it boils down to. Sometimes we have topics, sometimes we don't. Like this evening, we really don't have a topic. We'll just sort of, what do they call it? Stream of consciousness. Just see what sort of comes up. Yep. Stream of consciousness, kind of just fly by the seat of our pants. And if you'll notice, speaking of flying by the seat of her pants, yes, Pagan Tech is in his flight sim there. So he streams flight sims on his Twitch channel, which we will get to plugs in a minute. Blingtron and myself, Blingtron, aka Patrick, and Green Bear as well. We'll be headed to Dragon Con soon. It's less than 2 weeks now, so I'm pretty excited about that. And if I took the time to point the camera to that corner, you would see a lot of stuff already piled up ready to go. So, not that I'm excited or anything, but I do have shit ready to go already. So anyway, so that's us.
You're actually getting your shit together?
What can I say?
What?
I'm organized.
First time for everything.
No shit.
I don't want to hear it, Mr. Wallet in the trash can. And if Tim was on here, I would call him Mr. Toaster. So we've got that's something that we can do. We can tell convention stories tonight. But anyway,
yeah, we are the unconventional conventionalists.
We are. That's very true. Very true. All right, so we'll just start with plugs though. I'll start with myself, and then we'll go around the table here, as it were. I am the owner and program director and one of the DJs and of the perpetrator and the grand poobah, if you will, of stnradio.com. Recently updated the website, so please stop by and check it out. It looks nice and pretty, if I do say so myself. It's got the schedule of programming there. It's got, links to our DJs. It's got links to get in touch with me directly, to ask questions. It's got links to all these other guys, to their streaming channels and all that kind of good stuff. So stop in and check it out. We broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have live DJs on Tuesdays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and potentially a Thursday show coming up called Blunt Force Trauma. Thanks in no small part to Patrick there. He has lent that particular phrase to a show that Reverend Rob is going to be doing. So that's going to be 3 shows that Rob's going to be doing. And the good thing he doesn't have a job and has got a lot of time on his hands, because damn.
Yeah, but
Wow.
that little. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say he, basically I think he had a job at a tattoo shop. The tattoo shop closed during COVID. So he's just been but his wife does fairly well for herself, let's say. So, he's not hurting over there. But he's like, man, before you came calling, I was just sitting around playing video games, getting stoned all day long. I'm like, well, that sounds like a pretty good deal, to be perfectly honest. But, what do I know? But anyway, yeah, STN Radio, that was a little divergent there. Anyway,
Oh boy!
no. Really?
He's getting
Shocking.
full robot.
Fight my shiny metal ass.
You need to kick Bender out of your house there, dude.
Man,
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we've got a couple of podcasts. There's anchor.fm/noise tangent, which is my podcast. And there's anchor.fm/Roundtable of Fools, where you can hear the old episodes of Roundtable of Fools. You can also go to youtube.com/Pagantech, PAGANTEK. And that is where you can find the video versions of the Roundtable of Fools. Thank you. Got a playlist set up. I believe Phil's got a playlist set up all ready to go. So you can just sit there and fill your days and your nights and your afternoons with, the 4 or 5 of us. So, and doesn't that sound great? So I've rambled on long enough. Green Bear, why don't you ramble at us for a minute?
Hey, you sure you want me to do that? Because I can.
Never mind, Phil. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, I'm actually working on a couple things on my stream. Twitch.tv/The Green Bear. I am a variety streamer, but the past couple of weeks I've been really focused on playing Warframe, which is my go-to. Warframe, City of Heroes, and I plan to start branching out again and just going out and playing several different other types of games. I've been trying to work on getting Maneater to stream properly. God damn, that is an amazing game. It's just I can't get it to stream. So I'm also working on a couple things with the stream itself. I've got I think I'm going to do with the biddies, where when somebody donates X number of biddies, it will hit my soundboard and randomly change my voice.
Oh,
That sounds fun. That would be hilarious, actually.
It's going to be totally silly. I have no idea what it's going to choose. But there's a lot of them, or it'll change like the background, like I'm sitting deep in a cave or in the middle of traffic or something such like that.
Dude, you're already sitting deep in a cave.
That is true.
That's true.
And
I don't know.
No, but that's
shade,
something I'm working on. I'm working on a few things, and
that sounds cool.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm trying to stay on top of it. I'm working towards, once I can get 500 followers. Right now, I'm just a little bit under 300.
Nice.
But once I get to 500,
Wow.
I got 5.
Once I get to a full 500, I've been chatting with a lot of other streamers, and there's one in particular that I really like. Shout out to Tex Cub SF. Man knows what he's doing. Family friendly channel, very chill, very relaxed, very laid back. Plays a lot of I think it's like 7 Days to Die, I think is the game.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the main one he streams. But he's very laid back and just talks very chill. I like listening to him. He's cool. But he was telling me that he didn't even start using a camera until he got 500 followers.
Really?
That seems to be a magic number for a lot of folks, is that by the time you reach 500, then there are enough of your followers are watching Twitch that they will actually see you. And you'll start having people begin to pile up into your channel, which is ideally what you'd really like. So that's what I'm working on right now, is just trying to go along. I'm finally set up. I can get subscriptions and all that kind of stuff now, but still, I've got to get out there. So I'm working on getting new followers and just kind of being my same normal goofy ass self.
Sweet. And that madness can be found at twitch.tv/The Green Bear. Yes?
Yep.
Nice. And I forgot to mention, I stream, it's pretty erratic right now because free time, blah, blah, blah. But if you're interested in watching me play a game poorly, it's at twitch.tv/Malignant Gnome. So with that, Pagan Tech, why don't you
That didn't work.
plug?
What you
Plug.
break now?
Plug what? There it is.
Whatever you want to plug. I'm not here to judge.
Yeah, okay.
No, there's a plug you need right there.
Yeah.
Need a plug for that for sure. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/PAGANTEK, Pagan Tech, and usually I'm streaming something like Flight Sim, or what you see behind me is Star Citizen, actually. Tonight I have a new background, and I'm kind of digging the new Star Citizen patch that dropped. It's very nice, very awesome, and hopefully I get a chance to drag Blinktron around and let him see some of the sights of Star Citizen, so that's pretty exciting. What the heck?
Did they fix the issue from the last update?
The world of tomorrow. Sorry.
They fixed part of the last update. There are still some things that are broken, of course. Like I said, they're using the public universe as a method of improving the technology to build the game. So they put a piece of technology in, they see what breaks, they work on fixing it, then they go for another round for new technology, and et cetera, et cetera. The last technology that they dropped in was an actual gas giant. 3D volumetric clouds and Cloud City, and yeah, it's full-on gas giant. And those clouds are pretty impressive, I tell you.
Telling you. Yeah. Woo.
So,
Cloud rendering technology at its finest.
Yeah, the cloud rendering technology is definitely a system horse, or a system hog, system whore. I think that's where my head went. It's a system hog and really eats video cards. So they're still working on it. Generation 1 of Cloud Tech, and Generation 2 should be coming up shortly.
Awesome. My. And that is Star Citizen, you said?
That is Star Citizen.
Excellent.
Other games are Kerbal and Elite Dangerous and things like that, but usually some science or some sci-fi or some flight.
Or a sim of some sort. And that can be found at either twitch.tv/PaganTech, that's PAGANTEK, or youtube.com/PaganTech.
Yep, I do have some stuff in my history of you can look in the history stuff besides just the things that you're watching now, which is Roundtable of Fools. I also have some video games that I've played now, all the way back to Spore. I have Spore on my YouTube channel.
Nice. Wow. All right.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. I remember following the progress of Spore before it came out, man. That sounded just like it was going to be like the biggest, baddest, coolest game ever. And I mean, it was cool. I mean, it wasn't,
It was mind-blowing. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was mind-blowing when it was released. It was because they'd never done anything that goes all the way from a single-cell organism to a spacefaring civilization.
Yeah. And Blinktron?
Yes, I actually have a plug today.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. And there it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
I expected nothing less.
You almost got me there. I was like, he's going to pull out the plug again. Awesome. Well, so the big thing that's coming up, at least for Blinktron, Green Bear, and myself, is DragonCon. That starts on the 2nd of September and goes through. That's Labor Day, right? I always get Labor Day
weekend. Yes.
Yeah, I always get Labor Day and Memorial Day confused. Memorial is the beginning of summer. Labor is the end of summer. So Labor Day weekend is when it takes place. So I'm driving down to Blinktron's house on the 1st, and we're gonna eat some Zaxby's. And then the next day we get up early and we drive to. Well, I don't know how early we're getting up. But anyway, we drive to Atlanta on Thursday. I did speak to our friend Rick, and he's getting excited about going, and his daughter is also going to be there, and Mike is going to be there, but they are not staying at the hotel where we are. Mike ended up somehow getting a room at the Hilton. Somebody bailed or something.
Oh, really?
I think that's what Rick said.
At the Hilton?
Which Mike?
Yeah.
The one that stayed with us past few years. Mike McClintock.
Oh, okay, I remember him. All right.
So anyway, that's taking place first weekend of September. So We're getting all geared up for that. I think as technical wise, obviously I don't have the board packed up. I don't have my microphones packed up, but basically everything else is ready to go to where I can just tear down the mics, tear down the board, grab a couple of my adapters, chuck them into my carrying case, and I'm ready to go. I got to get clothes and stuff, but so that's the
who
big,
needs clothes?
yeah. Oh, nice. So that's the big thing, or at least for me, that's the big thing. So what we're planning on doing, and we're not quite sure how all it's going to work out. We're hoping to do a sort of round table of fools on Thursday night, assuming Patrick and I haven't drank too much beer at that point.
Oh,
speaking of, even if we have,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thursday night, dinner plans have already been made.
Oh, okay.
So we're hitting up Mellow Mushroom Thursday night.
Mellow Mushroom.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long it's been since you've had it there, Mr. Tommy, but
I mean,
it's been a little bit.
The last time I ate at a Mellow Mushroom was in Athens. I mean, I know there's one in Augusta, but the last time I ate at a Mellow Mushroom was in Athens, Georgia. So, and I've never eaten in one in Atlanta. And even at that, it's been, I don't even know how long since I've been to Mellow Mushroom, but I do love the place. So because their food is just spectacular there.
Yeah. And there's one technically within walking distance. It's about 3-ish Atlanta city blocks away.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. It's easy. Yeah. It's an easy walk.
So,
all right. Well, awesome.
Dragon Con also has a community bus that runs a circuit that'll get you closer to it if you want to take the ride.
All right. Well, I'll just go along with the crowd. If everybody wants to walk, we'll walk. If everybody wants to bus, I'll bus. I don't care.
Yeah, we walked past a couple of times. So
yeah, that's fine. If if it's not 1,000,000 degrees, I'm okay with walking, and even at that, as long as I'm not in wool or something, I'll be fine, I think. But no promises there, because I am bringing at least 2 kilts. I'm bringing 2 kilts. Yep, bringing 2. One of them is not wool. One of them is. So
at least it'll be breezy.
Which, much to the chagrin of people walking behind me, possibly.
Oh my! You'll always be able to wear one, but you have to leave the other one completely off. That way, you can always be off kilter.
Oh my God! Good night, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
I'll be
And we're done.
And we're done. And cut. All
right.
Hey,
well, that's terrific.
So anyway, that's for me. Anyway, that's the big sort of thing on my mind that's coming up. Now you will notice on the wall behind me, the 2 Star Wars posters, and I got stuff in the middle there. After Dragon Con, I've got a project in mind over my monitor, which you can't see obviously, but I've got a 50-inch TV over my monitor here, mounted to the wall. So what I'm planning on doing is moving that to the wall behind me, and I'll have like STN ads and stuff, slideshow behind me when we do stuff like that. Yep. That'll be a fun project.
I love the frozen face there, Tommy.
And he went full robot on us.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, your connection's trash tonight.
Well, it's probably because my son is doing a similar and probably gaming at the eating up all the bandwidth. So.
That bastard.
Get off the computer!
Need to ban him on Thursday night. Couldn't do this. So anyway, so that's good, but that's probably for after Dragon Con. That's probably a good day or so, because I got to run cables into the closet and all that kind of fun stuff. So that'll be a project. So
you gonna be able to get it up high enough? Sorry.
Oh my.
Sorry. I couldn't resist.
I've got a step stool upstairs.
Okay.
Now, one thing you're going to have to watch out for.
Yes.
You put that in the back there. You're going to have to watch out for oversaturation, overbleed. Number one, you're going to have bounce off of the lighting that you currently have on the 2 pieces of plexiglass back there. But what you're really going to want to watch out for is the same effect that's happening on my monitor here, where I'm darker than the monitor is getting bled out. Yes. It's actually too bright.
It's a good
Oh my God. Yeah. Freaking nerd.
Yeah, white balance.
And?
No, not white balance.
No, is that different than white balance?
Intensity, yes. White balance is what color it is.
Okay.
Nerd.
Photography nerd.
Get it right.
No, he's a
Well, look.
painter of light.
That's right. I do paint with light.
What is your wife going on about in the background there? Settle down, woman.
Did you hear Tommy?
She's going to drive to Pittsburgh and kick me right in the keister.
What? You done yelling at the child? The other child? Well, you can yell some more if you want to.
It
Yeah,
can
I
be
wasn't-
amusing.
I was about to say, I didn't say I wasn't amused by all the yelling. I just wondered what was going on there.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you get in some... There you go.
So right before we started recording, we were talking about convention stories and like, oh, that would be good. What convention story did we, something triggered a memory for me. What were we talking about as far as convention stories go? I was like, oh, we should wait to talk about that on the air.
I don't know. You're the one who said you'd forget about it.
I told you I'd forget.
If
Successful.
you would have given us something to key off on, it would have been helpful.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, the topic that I put forth
Right.
that led into the convention thing
Oh, right.
was what is a show, TV, radio, what have you,
yeah.
YouTube, whatever,
Okay.
that most folks think is absolutely horrible. You might even recognize that it's awful yourself, but you still fucking love it.
Oh, train wrecks.
Yeah, something you can't look
There
away
you
from.
go.
I actually have a show that when I tell people that I enjoy watching it, they're like, either they've never seen it before or they have, and they're like, what? So this was a show that was on, I think, Nickelodeon a while back. It was called Victorious was one of the shows, and there was another show. Oh, it had Victoria Justice in it. It must have been I think it was called Victorious. It was a teenage sitcom thing, pretty typical Nickelodeon fare. Ariana Grande was one of the characters in there, and she's like a worldwide pop sensation now, apparently. That show just cracks me up, and I don't know why, because it's, let me say, it's silly, but man, that show just cracks me up, and I can watch it over. Now, I will admit, though, I am a sitcom junkie, so and it doesn't really take a whole lot to amuse me. Let's be perfectly honest. But that show just cracks me up. I love that show. It's silly and it's kind of stupid at points, but it's funny, and I love watching it.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, see, a lot of people haven't.
We heard of it. It was okay. It's just not one of my go-to. I never really enjoyed the teen silly Disney shows that
Angst.
I think it was it wasn't even angsty. It was just dumb. There's another one that like Victorious and
iCarly was the other one, sort of in that same vein.
What's iCarly?
iCarly was funny too. Yeah,
I agree.
iCarly. We enjoyed watching iCarly as well.
this Lab Rats is like that. That's just I don't like that show.
Okay, I got one for you.
Okay.
All right.
And Tommy, you'll pick up on this because you've seen an episode or two of this.
Okay.
But when I say this, it usually tends to polarize the friends I'm around. They either absolutely love it, absolutely hate it, or they've never watched it. I love Teen Titans Go.
Oh, I like that too. Yeah, it's very good.
What's wrong with that?
Oh,
A
man.
lot Go ahead. A lot of people don't like the animation style.
They don't
of
like
the
the
show.
animation. They also don't like the fact that it's taken the Teen Titans and put them in a really... They tried to be so completely goofball, stupid, silly.
It's absurdist, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that, number one, the characters are self-aware of this.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think it was the third season, there was an episode where they're confronted by the man who actually canceled the original Teen Titans that they are a parody of. And they've actually watched episodes and gone, I look so much cooler then. Why doesn't my power act like that anymore? You monster. Why did you cancel such an awesome show? So they're aware of it. And the developers actually stated that when they made Teen Titans Go, it was a creative vision, and they were hoping to get all kinds of accolades. And it's actually been a plot point for a couple of the episodes. But the developers have even admitted canceling Teen Titans was a bad idea. But Teen Titans Go is on what season now? And it's funny once you can get past that. Well, this is the Teen Titans.
Waffles,
And just
waffles, waffles,
have fun.
waffles, waffles,
Waffles,
waffles.
I was
waffles,
just
waffles,
about to say,
waffles.
we still in this house to this day. There's an episode where Robin and Cyborg are going back and forth about favorite foods. Cyborg's is tacos and Robin's is burgers or something like that. And it's the other way around. I don't remember, but one of them's going, "It's burgers. What? It's burgers." And anytime I'm going out to grill, or anytime we talk about going out to get burgers, that's every single time. It's burgers. What? It's burger. Oh man, yeah. That is a funny cartoon, and I can see where people might not like the animation style, because to be perfectly honest, it's not really my cup of tea. But I can overlook that because the shows are funny. So I don't mind it a bit. Now, I have not seen each and every one of them. I will admit I haven't watched it in a long time. But yes, that's a funny show.
Now, there's also episodes like, the episodes became a bit of a meme unto themselves. Was The Night Begins to Shine. That episode and that
I love
story
that
arc
episode.
is a love letter to the 80s, and it's phenomenal. It's hands down just very well done, scripted, acted. I just love it. The visual looks like it's right out of a damn Trapper Keeper. There's just so much imagery right out of the 80s. It's just fantastic.
I have to look that one up, I guess, 'cause I don't think I've seen that one.
You have. You watched it with me when you guys were living down here, because I brought it. I pulled up Voodoo, actually, on Tim's downstairs big screen, and we watched it.
Okay.
All right. You were the one who pointed out that the art looks like it's right off of a Trapper Keeper.
Oh, am I? Okay. That's been a couple I've slept since then. So, okay. Yeah. I'll have to watch it again then, I suppose. Okay.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
No,
I'll definitely.
But it went on. It's not just a single episode anymore. There's actually a 3-part story arc involved in it now.
All right. And it's called what again?
The Night Begins to Shine.
The Night Begins to Shine. Okay.
Great song.
Look up the video for it on YouTube. It's fantastic.
All right. Yeah. I'll have to watch it again, I guess. Yeah. I don't retain a whole lot of things, honestly.
What does retain mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So like water?
Exactly.
Who are you again?
Yeah.
Anyway, Patrick, you got anything that comes immediately to mind?
I mean, just the usual, especially for us, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That is definitely one of those love it or hate it things.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'll put a caveat on that. It's love it or hate it, and based on your intelligence. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, fuck off. You're not going to get any of the fandom or any of the depth to the movie. And as goofy, silly as that movie is, you've got to have a head on your shoulders to really understand what's happening. Just my 2 cents on it. I think it's a very well-written story.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
really fucking bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
Just watching it straight up makes little to no fucking sense.
Yeah, it's not a movie that you can just sit down, or let me rephrase that. That's not a movie that I can just sit down and watch, throw in the DVD or the Blu-ray and just watch it as a movie. I got to have somebody there yelling lines with me and just being silly. I mean, because that's honestly that's the best way to experience it. The first time I ever experienced Rocky Horror Picture Show was at the Regency Mall Cinema at a midnight showing. Yep. Stevie P drugged me out one night, and against my mom's wishes, I'm fairly certain, because she didn't want me going out at midnight, because I was 16 or 17. I hadn't even still working at Winn-Dixie there, and I have loved it ever since and seen it hundreds of times ever since. So here's a quick question for you guys: do they play Rocky at Dragon Con?
Fuck yeah!
Okay.
Live action.
Oh, awesome.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. I didn't know.
Look up the crew, Lips Down on Dixie.
Yep. I forgot them. Yep.
That's the crew that does it every year.
Very cool.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to play my geezer card here.
Okay.
I first saw Rocky Horror at National Hills.
I
Wow.
don't think I knew they played it at National Hills.
It played at National Hills for about
Wow.
a year or so,
All right.
and then it hit when it really sank in, when it really began to take off on the Midnight Circus when it went to Regency.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
I saw it at National Hills. I was able to ride my bike up that area.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I mean, the National Hills Cinema doesn't even exist anymore. It's just like
Nope.
they remodeled it. It's a
the
store
Fresh
now.
Market.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yep. Yeah, that was. I saw many movies at that theater actually at National Hills
Mhm.
Cinema. I remember distinctly. For some reason, I remember. Oh, I saw. I believe I saw Forrest Gump there, and the only reason I remember that is because I knew the guy that was taking tickets in the little box office booth they had out front. His first name is Forrest. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. So, he's like, don't say it. And when I came back out and saw him, he's like, don't say it. I'm like, okay, run Forrest. Anyway.
Jenny.
Yeah. Jen A. Yeah. Well, we used Jen A for years. Stevie, dated somebody named Jenny and she was really
fun.
Jen A. Yeah.
Jenny.
Jen A. Yeah.
I saw the Black Hole there.
Oh,
I saw Candle Shoe there. Saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure there. With
yeah,
you.
I think I was about to say,
And
yes,
Excellent.
we saw that together. Yeah, absolutely,
A bunch
we
of
did.
us
Yeah,
went.
yeah.
Let's see.
I remember Dave drove. He was driving his. I don't know why I remember this. Of all the shit that I remember or don't remember, as it were, we rode in Dave's mom's station wagon. I'm pretty sure it was his mom's station wagon. I was all the way in the back, of course, because I was, listen, there was a bunch of us that went, but I was in the very back, no seatbelt, of course, with a spare tire. There was just a spare tire in the back. And, yeah, I was like, okay, I guess I'm sitting with the tire on the way to the movie.
That.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw that together at National Hills. Yes, that's right.
All I remember was you, me, Dave, Billy,
Marion was there, I think. Yeah.
Marion.
Marion went. Yep.
There were several of us that went together.
Yeah. No, that was and I've loved that movie ever since too, man. That movie is just, to me, that is nearly a perfect movie. As silly as it is, that is just a perfect movie. It's just well acted and it's funny and it's got action. It's just a great movie.
And its time travel science was based in actual time travel theory at that time.
Oh, okay. I don't know that I knew that. They actually had some big brains on it. Okay, that's cool.
They did.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there was another show that was made into a god awful movie, and I fucking hated it. Oh my god! It's another one of the reasons why I can't stand Will Ferrell. Land of the Lost.
Oh yeah.
The original Land of the Lost, despite its premise, its science was quite sound. There's been a lot of research on that, and the science in that movie was not only consistent with its own science, but it was based in actual scientific principle. Everything from the dimensional travel to time travel to the time loop theory involved in it, all of it was sound.
Interesting.
At the time.
At the time.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And the movie was, look, if you watched the show when you were a kid, at no point was it meant to be silly. Everything, like the slee stacks. I mean, I found the slee stacks actually frightening when I was little.
Yes.
But again, the concept behind what's going on in that show is not very pleasant. And I loved it. I still like it, even with its outdated depiction of dinosaurs and everything. I don't care. I'd like to see a big budget Hollywood respectful adaptation of the show.
Yeah,
which I think could be good.
I remember watching the movie when I was a kid, but just barely, because that was the 70s. So I was not even, I wasn't even 10 when that show was on the air. Mm-hmm. And I did see the Will Ferrell movie, and I could take or leave Will Ferrell, to be honest with you, but it was an okay movie. I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about. It was okay.
Just can't stand him.
Yeah, but you and Patty are in the same boat. She just does not like Will Ferrell. Anything. Now, I don't remember the name of the movie. He was in a dramatic movie. This has been years ago. And he actually did a very, very good job in that movie. He wasn't acting. It wasn't a comedic role.
That was the one about the author, right? Yeah, Stranger Than Life. That's it.
Yeah.
About the author.
Yeah, his wife died or left him or something. And I remember he was like, was he at a yard sale? Was he selling all of his stuff, or
You can hear the voice of the author as she makes changes to the book.
Right.
No, that's not the
Wow.
one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's a different one.
Okay.
I don't
Maybe
remember.
he'll go the way of Jim Carrey. I mean, I honestly couldn't stand Jim Carrey at first. I liked him on like In Living Color,
Yeah, of course.
but then right. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
There was just so much stuff I couldn't stand him in. I didn't like his personality or anything, but I recognized he was funny.
Yeah.
And it took me finally like a few years after it came out. I actually sat down and finally watched Ace Ventura.
Oh,
Ace Ventura
And I was sold. I was totally sold. But then some of his other movies I just but goddamn, The Truman Show.
Oh yeah.
That sold me completely on him.
Yeah.
Truman Show and The Bicentennial Man came out around the same time. And when I was working at Blockbuster, I used to promote those two together. Because they were both dramedies starring a comedian in a dramatic role.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And it was a serious dramatic role.
Yeah.
And just,
Like What Dreams May Come.
Right? Holy
Yeah.
crap, that was a good movie.
Here's a movie. I don't want to say it's obscure, but it's not super well known. It's got Michael Douglas in it. It's called
The Game.
What's that?
The Game. I would just randomly I would have thrown out any Michael Douglas movie just came out.
No. Falling Down is what it's called.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
Oh my god, that movie rocked.
That is such
Yes.
a great flick. I saw that when it was still fair. I don't know that I saw it in the theater necessarily, but I remember seeing it when it was fairly new and just thinking, that poor guy, you know. I mean, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, you know, freaking 25 years later, whenever it came out. But
I think spoiler zone is well past it.
it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
you're good
Well,
on that.
yeah.
I
Okay.
don't
Well,
think
you
you're
never
worried about
know because you get people. Oh, I hadn't seen that movie yet. I wanted to see it. Well, you've had 25 goddamn years. See the
it.
movie.
That's right. Shit.
Favorite line in the movie. Favorite line in the movie. We are not the same.
Yes.
I'm an American citizen. You're an asshole.
You're a sick asshole. Yeah. There's a song that I play on the dance party. It's called the name of the song is Vigilante. I think it's by Front 242, and they have clips from that movie.
Assembly.
Frontline Assembly. Yes, thank you. It's Frontline Assembly. Yeah. And they have clips
of a criminal.
From that. Yes. Yeah. They have clips from that movie in the one song, and that's that one in particular. Go ahead.
Wasn't there a Foo Fighters video done based off of that?
I mean, that's possible. I don't. If so, I don't know.
The visuals of the video reminded me of that show where he just got pissed off and went off.
Yeah.
Crap, I can't remember the name of it. But anyways.
Yeah, if you come up with it, just throw it out there. Just throw it out there.
Walk. That's it. Walk. Where he's stuck in traffic.
Yo,
Angrily
okay,
gets out of the car.
Oh, yes. I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's very similar. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great movie, and I love discovering movies. Discovering movies. You know, like I'm the first one to ever see some of these fucking movies.
25 years later.
Well, exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, and I honestly myself, I'm not one to be upset by spoilers. Particularly if it's an old movie that's been around for a while. It's like, I could look it up. I could look up a synopsis online at any time. So that just saves me time having to look it up online. Tell me what's going on in the movie, and then I'll go and watch it. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. And the people online that get just so bent out of shape about spoilers. I mean, I can understand it if it's like a limited series, like there were people, WandaVision. Oh, don't tell us. Oh, I got to shut my computer down and burn it for the next week and all this stuff. It's like, well, you don't really have to get that, around the axle about it. Just, watch the goddamn thing, or don't get on social media as much. I mean, there's a very simple solution to that problem. I mean,
that's true.
Let's be honest.
Speaking of which, WandaVision was a very good series.
WandaVision was an excellent series, yes. And I think
tears actually happen.
What?
Tears actually happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there were some painful scenes in that show.
For sure. Well, there's I work with a guy who said, he said, I saw the first couple episodes of that, and Old sitcoms just aren't my thing, so I didn't finish it. I was like, no, you stopped watching it right when it was starting to emerge from classic sitcom territory. He's like, really? It's like, oh yeah. It's like that's a very, very small part of the overall sort of story that, it's just where it starts. He's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have to go watch it again. So yeah, give it another shot because it's really good. Here's another show too that my uncle, and I don't know what triggered this, but my uncle and aunt, who are, a good bit older than Patty and myself, they said, my uncle's like, you've got to watch Schitt's Creek. I was like, Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I've heard about that, but I've never seen it. I've heard it's good though.
It's like, okay. So I think it's on Netflix. So I watched it's only like 5 seasons. I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I was like, it was all right, and then I forgot about it. And then my uncle's like, did you ever watch Schitt's Creek? I was like, no, it's like, I started it. And he's like, well, you got to stick through the first season. I was like, okay. So then we were on, so COVID and, I'm not doing anything else but watching fucking TV all the time. So I was like, okay, well, I'll give it another shot. That show is fan-freaking-tastic. It's amazing. So the first season, they're just sort of getting their footing and all the actors are sort of getting to know each other and all that kind of stuff. It's that sort of thing. But that is a great, great show. If you have Netflix, I think they even put it out on, Blu-ray or whatever, or, I know people don't buy physical, copies of their media anymore, but you should go out. I know everybody here does, but I mean, people, Phil, are you not a physical, are you not a physical?
No, I got 8 tera sitting aside just for stuff.
I'm not going to go into.
I do have a good collection though.
You do have it. You just have it on a hard drive.
Oh yeah.
That's
It's
still a
local.
physical copy. As
Okay,
opposed to
I'll
people
buy
who
that.
just stream their entertainment. Because there's a score of movies that I want to always be able to have and watch when I want to.
Yep.
Speaking of which, Pagan Tech, I've been meaning to ask you since Christmas.
Oh.
Did
No,
you
I have not.
Okay. Sucks to be you.
Yes, we have no bananas.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, we have no
I
bananas.
have not watched it yet. No.
Speaking of movies that you never want to be without, I have one on my list that I will never get rid of.
This is your desert island movie.
Akira. The director's cut.
Akira is good. I don't like it that much, but it's not a desert island movie for me, but I do like that movie a lot.
It's just
The soundtrack alone.
The soundtrack is amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my first memories of going to cons was going to Dragon Con with you, Tommy.
Yep.
There's you, me, a couple other ones, and I paid $75 for the soundtrack. And it wasn't a copy; it was the actual soundtrack to Akira
Japan,
or Akira from Japan in the dealer's room.
Yeah, I remember that.
The day I met Lauren, I was in our room, and she came in, and I had this little POS CD player. It was my very first one. About maybe yay big. It had like 2 buttons, play, pause. That was it. And I had it set up in our on the nightstand next to the bed, and I had the little jewel box sitting up on it. And she came in and she looked at it. And she said, "Is that like from the anime?" I was like, "Yeah." And she actually did drop down, did the whole "I'm not worthy" and all that kind of, did the whole bowing and worshiping the CD. But that was my first real exposure to serious anime.
The first time I really saw anime was probably at Dragon Con or at or maybe Atlanta Fantasy Fair, seeing Akira like in the ballroom, on the big screen in there. I had never
colored subtitles.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, well, they called it Japanimation back then, and it was not readily available. I mean, anime fans are everywhere now, and for good reason. And it's so easy to get your hands on anime nowadays. Back then, it was not. You had to, you would find people. In fact, I have one guy in particular that comes to mind. I can't remember his name now, but he was always at Mock. He was always at Fantasy Fair. He was always at Dragon Con. Big dude. He had a big birthmark on the side of his face.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name. Anime was his thing. I mean, even back then, anime was his thing. And he would import stuff, VHS from Japan and all this stuff. But a lot of his, cheaper stuff in the bins out in front of his booth was a copy of a copy of a copy of a bootleg copy that was copied from another copy that somebody dropped in the mud and stepped on it and then copied that again. I mean, some of them were just like, you're like, what? What's I can't see what's going on. But he sold the hell out of those tapes, dude. I'm telling you.
He's the guy I got my first clear, watchable copy of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, like decades before it was ever actually.
Before it came out on home video, yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Nice.
It was not
Wow.
available. He had
That's
copies
cool.
of it that were taken from Laserdisc, I think. I don't remember.
Oh, wow,
But it was a
wow.
clear, watchable VHS Rocky Horror, and man, that was the shit. When
Did
people
it
found out I
have
had
did it have superheroes in at the end?
it did.
Nice.
It had not only superheroes, he actually had a section of the track that had Once in a While. That Once in a While was the solo song that Brad Majors sang.
Mhm.
And it was never filmed, but there was a little blank area at the end that just simply had a track. Track whatever.
Yeah.
And it was Once in a While, and it had superheroes.
Oh, nice.
Then he's also the same guy I got my first Akira from.
George,
Akira.
was his name George?
I don't remember.
I want to say his
But
name.
I remember the dude quite clearly.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. Nice guy.
Yeah, he was.
And but yeah, he was. If you wanted anime, that is the dude you would go and see at conventions because
He's also the first person I found that had Gatchaman, which is where I first found out that
Oh my
Gatchaman was
God.
the correct name for Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
He was playing Gatchaman on one of his videos, one of his TVs, and that was my first realization. Holy shit, this is not really meant for kids.
No,
That shit was violent and bloody.
the original
and graphic.
version, yeah.
Holy crap, it was amazing. It's kind of like the I watch a channel on Twitch called Tokusatsu, and they
Bless you.
play all those old Super Sentai shows like the original Power Rangers, and those are not really aimed at kids either.
No.
Some of those
The,
are equally as graphic. They don't have the blood, but they'll show someone run a sword through someone and kill them.
My TV has something called Samsung Smart Channels or something on there. So even if you don't have like Comcast TV, because we don't, it's got an internet, it'll connect. And you've got 200.
Speaking of no internet,
Yeah. Speaking of no internet. Oh, he's gone full robot.
He's coming back.
potato mode.
I mean,
That 56K modem's kicking your ass, isn't it?
I'm telling you,
Are
33.6.
you sure it's not 2400 baud or 360 baud?
Are we back yet?
Yes.
Yeah,
You're back.
more or less.
All right. More or less, yeah.
More like less.
Yeah. But anyway, there's like 200 channels on there that you can watch, and it's a bunch of random weird stuff. But
Who's echoing?
We're getting a bad
that's
echo
not
from
me
you.
echoing. That's not me echoing. That's somebody else.
Okay. That would have been Mr. Pagan.
Yeah, sorry.
But they have something called Shout Factory TV on there.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where the mega shout, whatever you
Yes.
just said, they air that. Like they'll do 24-hour blocks of that. They'll do 24-hour blocks of Mystery Science Theater 3000, which I love. By the
What's
way.
it called?
Shout Factory TV. They've got a streaming website too. I'm sure.
Also
It's called-
on,
Well,
if
I
you're
have a
on Twitch,
Roku.
they have multiple channels as well.
yeah.
They've got
yeah.
they've got like 3 different Mystery Science Theater. They've got Mystery Science Theater. They've got a Rift Tracks. They've got another one that alternates between them.
Oh, dang.
Then there's Tokusatsu, which is all the old Super Sentai.
Yeah.
They've got another one that's like all the old Godzilla movies and Tinker Toy
Yeah.
movies and all. They got a bunch of really cool stuff out there.
Yeah, look up Shout Factory TV, Patrick. I mean, I'm
got
sure
it right
there's-
now.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff on there.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, since we switched over to Comcast, Patty and I watch Vikings on Prime, and I'll flip it on Shout Factory, and if there's something ridiculously, in my opinion, stupid on there, I'll just read my phone and have it on in the background for noise.
Like Fail Army.
What's that?
Fail Army. I love that shit.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll pull that up and watch it for about a minute. Meanwhile, an hour later,
Let me just see what the latest thing is. Yeah, next thing you know, it's 3:00 in the morning. You're like,
Yeah.
I have to go to sleep.
So we're talking about things that our peers, not necessarily us here, but our
Right.
peers go, why would you watch that?
Oh my
So,
God, that's horrible.
I
have
got
a
the worst
brain.
response. Yeah, I got the worst response when I was at work and I told somebody I watch my favorite movie, period, of all time. It's my desert island movie, UHF.
Oh, yeah.
They were
that's-
like,
that's
There's
such a
nothing
good
wrong
movie.
with that.
"Why?" I love it. Of course, it's Weird Al, and that's my go-to for everything.
That's your jam.
Yeah, the kids even say, "Well, that's the reason I have speech impediments because I've listened to all the Weird Al, and you can hear it when he sings. It's got the speech impediment. That's the same one I've got." But I love the movie. I saw it with Dad, and I had all of the music with me when I was going into the Navy and stuff. And I tell people, I was like, "Hey, yeah, my favorite movie's UHF," and they're like,
The soundtrack to that movie is fantastic, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yes,
just
it
one of
is.
the best soundtracks compilations like ever.
I remember
I
playing
would say that-
soundtrack in the work at Pizza Hut one morning,
Yes.
and people walked in and go, "What the fuck are you
What?
listening to?"
yeah, I would say that UHF, the soundtrack for UHF, was the first album that I consider where Al went purist with his parodies. The music was absolutely the same as it was originally. Before then, it was great, but it was always his take on that music, accordions and things like that. Where that album
it was
was
usually Oompa music. Yeah.
yeah, that album was absolutely pure. It sounded exactly like the original.
Yep.
And
And
it's just his crew.
Yeah.
the part of that movie, no matter how many times I see it, the part of that movie that always kills me is they're walking through the hallway and there's a closet there that says supplies on it, and all the Asian dudes jump out of there and yell supplies.
Supplies. I send that gift to Ayla or the daughter every now and then. It's like,
God, that just-
I've got a supplies for you. And she's like, what? Supplies!
It's just such a simple joke, but it kills me every single time I see that movie. Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah. That's again, not a desert. Well, maybe if we could do a top 10 desert island movies, that would probably make the top 10. Cause that is a fantastic, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Both of those movies, Akira and UHF, are in my top 10 movies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Nice.
cool.
My number one, Tommy, you already know what this is. It's a toss up between really two.
Okay.
The original Transformers movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
I
that's a good one.
never fucking get tired of it. Ever. But I think my number one desert movie has got to be The Wizard of Speed and Time.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, why does
Yeah,
that not surprise me?
Oh, the fact that I've actually gotten to talk with Mike Jitlov and just sit down and have a conversation with him. The autographs, the fan service, he is so supportive and appreciative of his fans. And the movie, with all of its quirks and everything, just appeals to me on every level. I love it.
We were, and I'm almost, it was either, again, Fantasy Fair or Dragon Con. They blur together for me back in the 80s and 90s.
You and I are at the one where they first came together.
Why does everybody say this? Those have always been two separate conventions.
They were, but the first year that I went, where it was so big, you remember the Trumpet of Doom?
Yes.
Okay, that particular one was when Dragon Con, Fantasy Fair, and there was one or two others all came together. That was the first year that happened, and we happened to be at it. Dragon Con came out on top. All the others combined into it. Wow. You and I were both there at the very first one.
I don't know that I 100% agree with that. I don't.
Do a little research on it, man. We were there.
I will. Well, I mean, I know we were. I forgot what I was
You're right. They were separate. I'm sorry. They were separate.
Yeah.
But they did come together, and we were there the year that happened.
So are you saying that they merged into one convention, or they just happened to happen on the same weekend?
No, they merged into the same convention. They were all sharing the same space.
Yes.
And then eventually merged into Dragon.
It was like Worldcon or something was happening that year.
Well, I remember the Atlanta Comics Expo got absorbed. ACE, the Atlanta Comics Expo got absorbed by Dragon Con. I remember that distinctly. Because they used to call it Dragon Con Ace, and then it was just Dragon Con. I don't think they absorbed the Atlanta Fantasy Fair. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think they ever did. Anyway, my point
Yeah,
was
sorry,
when
didn't
we
mean to
no,
distract.
that's fine. No, that's fine. What us with a tangent? Unthinkable. Anyway, yeah. There were you might have been there. That's why I'm asking. We bumped into Mike Jitloff at the McDonald's around the corner from either Dragon Con or
Oh,
Fantasyland.
wow.
I think so.
Yeah,
That sounds familiar.
He was just hanging, waiting to get some food. And we're like, oh, dude.
That
And he
was the year before he actually injured his eye with the glass, glass window.
I remember that story too. What did he tell us? He got drunk and stumbled into a mirror or a window or something. And
It was
broke
a glass door.
Yeah. Oh,
Had that
man.
big fucked up eye.
Yeah. And one of the mocks, it was mock 2, 3, 4, one of the early mocks. One of the doctors, one of the Doctor Who doctors actually passed away at it.
That was my very first mock.
So that would have been mock 4 then, probably, because 3 was my first one. So then your first mock was 4, so it would have been already in Greenville at that point.
Yes, they had the. My biggest disappointment was I was super big into Doctor Who at that time, and they had a full size TARDIS in the main atrium when you first came in.
Oh yeah.
When you walked in, there was the place where you checked in, and then off to the right where the atrium was, to the left of it, at the top of the little, like 2 or 3 steps, was this big TARDIS. And then I was like, yay, we're going to get to meet him. And the next morning, the first thing I hear is that he died.
Yeah.
At the con.
At the convention, yes, I do. I distinctly remember that. So Magnum Opus Con, or MOC for short, started in Athens.
Mock!
And then it moved to Columbus, Georgia for maybe only 1 or 2 years. And then it moved to Greenville, South Carolina, where it stayed for a good while before moving, I think, back to Athens, actually. And it kind of petered out after that. And we've had this discussion before. We think the partying ultimately, I think, did that convention in because eventually it was just a weekend-long party. Not that there's anything wrong with a weekend-long party, but, when you're trying to do a sci-fi con at the same time, you have to have balance. Plus, remember the guy that ran the thing, Roland, I can't remember his last name, was a paranoid freak of a person. He was always looking behind his back. Oh, Dragon Con's out to get me. Oh, he was nut. I mean, I don't even know what he's doing these days. But
I think I remember hearing issues about Roland, but I never knew what was happening.
He was nutty. He was always accusing people. Now, so even back then, Dragon Con was a much bigger convention than MOC ever was. And Roland was always accusing people of trying to sabotage his convention. Oh, some people from Dragon Con came and destroyed all the toilets in one of the downstairs bathrooms.
I remember that. I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, and graffiti. And it's just like, what are you talking about, you crazy person? And it was never, either A, was never true, or B, somebody did destroy some toilets, but it had nothing to do with Dragon Con. It was just somebody being an asshole and decided to, do some property damage.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
But that's not the way he saw it. Oh, yeah?
Right. Yeah, I did actually see the damage. They knocked down the walls between the stalls. Separated the stalls. They knocked there were 2 urinals downstairs. They knocked off one of the urinals off the wall, and 2 of the toilets were just smashed. It was nasty.
Yeah.
Damn, that takes work. They were really into it.
And it does. Yeah, they were determined. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, yeah, it sucks that somebody would be an asshole and do that, but it's a matter of it probably was, because even at that point back then, and this was early mid 90s, Dragon Con was already a big convention, could have ignored Roland or ignored MOC just generally, and everybody had been about their merry way. They weren't held at the same time. MOC was a spring convention. Dragon Con was a summer convention. I mean, they had a lot of obviously overlapping clientele, but they had a lot of different crowds as well at the 2 conventions. I mean, there would be no logical reason for Dragon Con, from anybody associated with Dragon Con, to want to mess with, little old MOC in Greenville, South Carolina. But he didn't see it that way. Everybody was always out to get him. And eventually that he in addition to the partying, did the convention in, because you may not remember this. One of the last years they did it, he had the brainstorm, oh, I'm going to directly compete with Dragon Con. We're going to hold Mock the same weekend as Dragon Con. And that didn't go over well. In fact, it went over like a lead balloon because like 6 people, attended Mock and everybody else attended Dragon Con. I mean,
Damn.
business acumen the man did not have. He was personable and funny, but he was not a businessman. He was a comic book shop owner. But anyway.
I think one of my favorite
ancient history.
memories from Mock was there was, oh geez, I was in you remember the restaurant that looked out over the main atrium?
Yep.
That's where I met Nichelle Nichols.
Yep. I remember, Breakfast with the Stars or whatever they called it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
There was one afternoon, me and my friend Brian we ate at the restaurant, and for some reason, I don't know why, we did the whole spoon hang.
Oh, on the nose, yeah.
Yeah. We were able to go all the way around the upper floor, get to the atrium, or get to the stairs by the waterfall, walk down the steps, and we're like walking down side by side, and there's like people applauding us and shit and just being goofy. We were able to go to the far end back under the balcony of the restaurant, and then get into the dealer's room before one of us finally dropped the spoon. I think it was me who finally dropped it. But we were able to walk all that fucking distance and never drop it once.
Nice.
Silly, stupid shit, but man.
I have many fond, hazy memories of Magnum Opus Con.
I bet you do.
Yeah, I have memories of Magnum Opus Con that people have told me things that I said and did that I don't even remember. So, if I did anything to offend anybody, I'll go ahead and just give a blanket apology, which will actually translate over to Dragon Con, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't drank heavily in quite some time. So you might have Fun Tommy on your hands for that weekend.
All right. Fine by me.
All right.
Get the camera.
Yeah.
I met Timothy Leary at Mock.
Yeah, he came a couple times. That's right. Yeah.
That dude was really fucking whacked out there.
Yeah.
Did he give you anything special?
No.
Expand your mind.
No, but he did talk about a good. I'll admit that the panel, it wasn't even a panel. It was supposed to be a panel, but there was only maybe 15, 20 people that showed up. And he just came down, he came around the table and just sat down there in the audience with us. And we just BS'd for about an hour or however long it was. And people were actually being respectful and asking him about the research and the experience and all that. And he was very forthcoming.
I would imagine that a lot of people at that time, probably just as like, oh, he's just some hippie burnout from the 60s. We're not going to bother with him. And we all know he wasn't. But nonetheless, that's probably what a lot of people thought. They've heard, stories or mention of Timothy Leary from the 60s, and they're just like, oh, it's some hippie burnout from the 60s. We're going to go and we're going to go party. We're going to go watch anime in the 24-hour anime room or whatever, Not there's anything wrong with that, mind you.
Yeah, a hippie burnout doesn't come up with something quite that chemically specialized.
Right. Well, I mean, he was a doctor. I mean, Dr. Timothy Leary, he was not just some, he wasn't a doctor like, those preachers, oh, I'm a doctor. Well, no, you're not. You're a preacher. But anyway, it's another story. He was an actual doctor. I think his specialty was probably chemistry. Maybe he got his PhD in chemistry. I'm not sure. But anyway, you're right, though. He wasn't just another hippie burnout. All right, well, I think this is a good time to take a break. Yeah, everybody in agreement with that? I see some nods of agreement.
My name.
Excellent, yes, and I'm going to grab something to drink myself. So we will, very nice, very nice. So we will take a quick break, and looks like it's too late for Phil, but, it's,
It's almost too late for me.
All right, so, snap it up. Okay, so, Phil, take it away.
Zoom.
All right. Well, I don't really have a segue to a break, so let's take a break.
Break time. There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around. I'm so stoked that you can still be here for the rest of these shenanigans. Stoked. and we've had a pretty successful break, and I hope that you have as well. So let's get into this. I can't keep a straight face around you fuckers.
Oddly, neither can I.
Oh,
Funny that.
yeah, funny how that works.
Wow.
Somebody got crumbs from these Ritz crackers all over my shorts. I'm not sure how that fucking happened.
Fuck, if only there was someone that you could blame, right?
Yeah, really. Jeez.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Bunch of savages in this town.
That's right.
Anyway,
In case you
yes.
haven't guessed, viewers and listeners, this is an adult show.
The fuck you say?
I am not shitting you.
I wouldn't shit you. You're my favorite turd.
That's right.
On that note, we are back. Apparently, we were talking. What were we talking about during the break? We just random shit, whatever came to mind.
Fond memories.
That's how we do it. Yeah.
Fond memories. That's actually how we. That's when we do our best work. Is when it's just
That's right.
random shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing we talked about was
Yes.
me admitting I was wrong. I got no problem manning up on that.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
So, yes, you were right, but there was more on my side as well.
Yes. No.
But
And
you were
I don't
correct.
know that. And I don't know that I remembered them actually changing their name to anything. I just remember seeing, some sad pictures of people outside of like one of the hotels at the, at the airport in Atlanta, like, a dozen people sitting around the table smoking and drinking beers and, it's Fantasy Fair 25 or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. It's a bunch of drunk rednecks at a, fucking hotel bar. I mean, so
Smoking what?
yeah. So anyway, but I didn't. I thought they had sort of kept their separate paths there. But again, I mean, it would not have surprised me if that had happened, simply because Dragon Con has just grown and like taken over like everything. Now they still do AWA, which is Anime Weekend Atlanta, AWA. They still do that, which is separate from Dragon Con, but it is strictly anime. It's not, because Dragon Con sort of encompasses the entire family of fandom in a big, sweaty, smelly hug. Yes, the reason I know that is there's a friend of mine up here in Pittsburgh. It's called Mega Road Toys. Look it up online. He specializes in anime toys, and he travels to Japan 3 or 4 times a year, cuts all these deals, gets all these cool toys from Japan. Now, none of it holds any interest for me because I'm not really an anime guy. His name's JJ. I've worked with JJ at Steel City Con on a couple of occasions, basically just being a presence to show people where things are and to make sure people don't steal stuff, But they'll come up to me and say, "Oh, do you have the yada this and that?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know. Talk to the guy with the long hair. I have no idea what we got. No idea." But normally he has these things, so he's crazy into it, and he actually does a pretty good business. Mega Road Toys, I think it's called. But anyway,
Is he going to be at Dragon Con?
I don't know, but he does go to. No, I don't think he goes to Dragon Con. I think because that's a long drive for him. Obviously for us it's like 12, 14 hours.
Whatever.
From Pittsburgh to Atlanta. But I think he actually prefers AWA since that's, sort of his wheelhouse with all of his toys,
Gotcha.
And who was that again?
Mega Road Toys. MEGAROAD. Mega Road Toys. Not sponsored. Although I got to actually talk to him, see if he wants me to advertise on Signal to Noise. That's a good idea.
Hey.
Anyhow. So no, I don't think he goes to Dragon Con just simply because, at least when we talked about it last, which granted has been a while, the dealer tables, the vendor tables sell out really quickly for Dragon Con. A and B, they're very expensive. So, I think AWA, like I said, I think that's sort of his jam because they say it's all anime oriented. All of his toys are anime oriented. and it's easier to get a table and cheaper apparently. So I think he saves his one trip. Now that may change with COVID, like it's changed everything else. I don't know. I actually haven't talked to JJ in a while. He's busy most every weekend going to conventions. So yeah, I'll have to ask him. But no, I don't think he's going to be at Dragon Con this year, or at least not that I've heard anyway. And I'm still trying to get our friend Duncan, still trying to convince Duncan to come down to Dragon Con one of these days, because I know he'd love it. He's like, oh, it's such a long drive and this and that. I'm like, dude, I was like, I'll do the driving. I mean,
I was about to say, what you're doing is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'll talk to him again this weekend. He's coming over. He and his partner, Jeffrey, and myself, we always do a 3-way birthday party because mine's on the 14th. Duncan's is today, and Jeffrey's is between the two of us. So we just do sort of a big conglomeration. We're doing a big conglomeration party on Saturday. So
birthday sandwich.
A birthday sandwich, yeah, if you will. So that's going to be, we're doing that Saturday. But yeah, I'll just have to talk him into it because he's like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Dragon Con. It's like, look, I'll drive. I was like, you're going to handle your own ticket, but I mean, I'll drive and we can find somebody to stay with. I said, but I'll drive. If that's what's holding you back, I don't mind doing the driving. I do it all the time. But it's one of those deals. It's the same thing with our friend Jack. So Jack talked me into going to Penzic back in I wanted to go to Penzic for a while, and it was either I don't have the time or I don't have the money. Yes. So around about 2001, those two things finally came together. I'm like, hey, I can go to Penzic. So Jack's like, yeah, and we, planned this and that and had a great time and went another time together. And then he hasn't been back since. So I'm like, you got to come back. He's like, oh, it's such a long drive. I'm like, man, it was the people into driving. Here's another thing, weird thing about Pittsburgh too. Now granted, it is a difficult city to drive around, just like Atlanta is, because there's lots of traffic. And just because of the topography of the city, it's like you got tunnels, you got bridges, you got traffic bottlenecks all over the place. So I will admit it can be a difficult place to drive in. But you go like to another township, and they're like, oh, where'd you come from? I was like, oh, I just drove over from Monroeville. Oh, Monroeville. They make it sound like I just took a trip from the moon to go and pick up there something from Craigslist. I'm like, it's not that far. It will be 20 minutes to get here, Anyway, that's something that's hilariously unique to Pittsburgh, I think. Well, maybe it's not unique to Pittsburgh, but it just cracks me up every time because it's like, it only took me 20 minutes to get here. Oh, yeah. And then tell them that you're driving from, Pittsburgh down to, North Carolina, for example. They're like, what? Like, yeah. Those roads, they travel in both directions. And, you get out of the city and you're sailing and, you're going 65 miles an hour. It's great. You should try it one of these days. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's on our mind, and that's why I've been talking conventions because Dragon Con's coming up for us, and I personally haven't been to Dragon Con in about 20 years, so this is gonna be fun for me. I say, and I haven't really had a vacation of any sort in a couple of years easily. I say, what you call it, Penzic was postponed last year and this year, and with Patty Kay and her cancer diagnosis, obviously not a whole lot of traveling going on there. So now we're finally at a point where it's like, okay, I've got a little bit of money to my name, got some time. Let's do this thing. Oh, and before I go on to the next topic, let's do T-shirt check.
All right.
Don't everybody volunteer at once.
All right. I got you.
Go ahead.
You can do it.
You can do it. Oh, yeah. Hey, Dragon Con. Awesome. What year? 2012, does that say?
Hold on. 2018.
2018. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. That's actually a really cool T-shirt. I may have to pick up a Dragon.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. As long as they make them in extra beefy. Oh, is this one of your custom tie-dyes?
Yeah.
Nice.
One of Christie's. It's not one with has green in it because the chroma key would wash it out and make me look like a floating head.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. I would love that.
Okay, so next time we'll be floating head.
Speaking of Green, Green is wearing his nice. His old school Atari shirt there. Very cool. Very, very nice. To match the old school Atari mug that you got the other day, right?
That's right.
Now, did that come in as a set or did you have to order them both?
I ordered them both.
Awesome. Very cool.
Nice.
And I'm just wearing a music T-shirt. This is Dead Kennedys again, one of my favorite old school punk bands. So, just a nerdy shirt from a different genre. Oh, and so my friend Jamie, not the Jamie a different Jamie, who passed away a couple years ago. He was all into reenactments. So he would do like Revolutionary War reenactments and French and Indian War, and then that sort of that era. And we'd go to Penzic, and of course Penzic is more medieval themed, so it's completely different from the 18th century stuff, right? So he would be like, oh, look at all these nerds walking around and this and that. And I'm like, dude, I was like, this coming from you who sleeps in a lean-to in Western Pennsylvania in your dungarees and all of your stuff from 18th century. You're calling these folks nerds? Oh, blah, blah. I'm like, look, you're a nerd too. It's just a different genre of nerd is all it is. We were both music nerds. But oh man, my campmates and I would give him such a hard time because one of the great things to do at Penzic is if you camp near a main road, set up your common area near the main road, and when you're bored during the afternoon, just watch people walk by. People watching. Oh, look, chainmail bikini. There's no way they ever wore that back in the day. Yeah, well, always good. And then you got the people who are trying to keep up their health regimen by jogging in their medieval duds, and you're like, well, okay, sure. And there was this one guy. We had a whole comedy routine based on this guy. It was this big, beefy, roid guy running around, and we had a whole comedy routine about how he couldn't put his hands in his pockets, and he would jog by the camp, obviously to the delight of the ladies, and he was all glistening and stuff like that. And the guys were like, what does he go when he gets around the corner? Does he rub butter on himself? How does he even do that? We had a whole routine worked out. It was hilarious. But that's one of the fun things to do. And then at night, late at night, when you're sleeping or when you're trying to sleep in your tent, then you get to listen to the drunk people walk by and all the random snatches of conversation, and you hope and pray that A, somebody doesn't hurl outside of your tent, and or B, piss outside of your tent. Because yes, it has happened. They're like, oh, look, here's something to pee against. And I'm like, no, go away.
Occupied.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a porta-john. This is my home. Fuck off. Oh man. So anyway, that's I have many a story, a lot of which, and I'll tell you this one story real quick because it's funny and it's all at my own expense. So being as it's a camping being as it's a camping event, you're at the mercy of the elements. So it was just just raining all day long. So I was like, well, I'm going to wander back, and my friends John and Marina camped way at the back of Penzic. So I was like, okay. So I hiked back there, and they had this. They had a pretty nice tent, but it had a front porch. It was covered. And they're like, hey, we're trying to empty all the beer out of the cooler. I was like, okay. So we sat there for 2 or 3 hours just drinking whatever random beers they had in their cooler. So finally the rain let up to it, and it got into the evening time. Rain finally let up, and he's like, hey, let's go hit some parties. And I'm like, okay. So we got up and wandered to a couple of parties. We ended up at one of the exclusive parties in Penzic. Now, it might sound weird, but a lot of times people have invite-only parties, and you have to have a token or a specific invite from somebody who camps there in order to get in to attend the party, because they're not going to supply booze, for example, for 10,000 people. It's just not going to happen, so they got to find a way to control it. So we somehow, I was already a couple of sheets to the wind at this point, got into this party. And the camp is a Italian Renaissance. They build every year. They build a 2-story structure that stands for 2 weeks, and then they tear it all down and put it away. If you want to look it up online, it's Casa Bardici, Bardici, Casa Bardici, Italian Renaissance theme. The coolest people, very nice. They could be a little snobby, but they've got kind of a reason to. A couple of the people that camp with them do it for Hollywood, and high caliber helps them build this thing and every year. Well, this party, and I was in line to get. The last number is getting in line. They're like, "Oh, we need some wine." Okay, so I'm in line to get wine for the three of us, right? I bumped into. Am I robotic again?
It was there.
Oh,
It
okay.
was ready.
So I got the wine, and I bumped into one of my campmates there. She's actually a musician, so she gets invited to all the parties. So I said, "Oh, Kazuki," and gave her a hug and all this stuff. And then I went back off with John and Marina, and we, continued to pound back free wine. Well, the next morning, then literally this is the last thing I remember. The next morning, I wake up in my tent, thankfully. The flaps on my tent wide open. I'm completely naked. There is a line of clothing leading into my tent, like, pants and a shirt, and there's a shoe here and a shoe there. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And I was hung over to beat the band because wine and beer mixture is never a good thing. Hung over just all the hell and back. I'm like, and I hear my friend Jamie hitting the side of my tent. "Tommy, are you alive?" I'm like, "Oh, I think so." He's like, "You've got clothes all over the front of your eye." It's like, "Yeah, I know. Can you grab those for me?" So I put something on and walked out. I had my shirt on back, whatever tunic I was wearing. I put the shirt on backwards. Go out to the common area, and I'm sitting in a chair, just like, lamenting my life choices, and pounding water. And Kazuki, one of my campmates, comes up. She's like, "Wow." She's like, "You had a good time last night, didn't you?" I was like, yeah, I think so. It's like, I went back to Bardici, and last thing I remember is drinking wine. She's like, "Yeah, I know. I saw you there. You gave me a hug." I was like, "I did?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I was really drunk, wasn't I?" She said, "Yeah, you kind of were." I was like, and then to this day, people are like, "Tommy, if you go out and get drunk, please wait until you get in your tent before you take all your clothes off." I'm like, "Hey, I didn't have any control at that point. I claim no responsibility for that. I don't know what to tell you."
So,
Go ahead.
Diligent Dwarves,
Diligent Dwarves.
that's what the pictures keep coming up as.
Maybe. Let me see what I can find. You
Casa
guys,
Bardici and Gaston
maybe.
at Penzic. Yep, that's it. Holy
Oh, yeah,
crap,
it's got to be it. Yeah.
That's impressive. Shit.
And they build that. That's a temporary structure. They build that every year.
That's
Casa
crazy.
Bardici. Oh, that's Casa Bacardi. Damn it! Stupid Google auto fucking Bardici. Oh,
CCI.
CCI. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. And when you do it comes up. That's them. Yeah. They build that every year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's impressive. And I say, and for the most part, the people that run the place are nice, and it's, they've got like a 10-year waiting list to camp with them for obvious reasons. I mean, they've literally got like like a chapel set up in there.
Oh, wow.
And they have a priest that camps with them that does mass, and I mean, they do, the whole thing. It's really impressive. I say, and for the most part, the people are really nice, and they always have tons and tons of wine. So, and they do a party called the Hoity Toity. That's what they call it, the Hoity Toity. And then that's a invite only. You have to be like a king or a queen or some sort of a tin hat, as it's called, to get in. The only reason I ever got in is because I hung around musicians. I'm like, I'm the roadie. I'm just helping them out, get everything set up.
Nice.
So, yeah. But then they do another party that's not quite as exclusive. They call that the Lodi Toady, which is more of a drunken revel in the middle of the woods. So, still lots of good wine and all, but just not quite as exclusive of a crowd as that one. I mean, the hoity-toity people come in like, the costumes that they spend weeks and months and years making that come out, once a year, you tell the costumes that they really, really worked on, that just the fanciest of the fancy. Another encampment there that does a really, really nice party at the Blue Feather Ball. And people get dressed up in their finest for the Blue Feather Ball. I mean, it is a sight to behold when they're because I don't remember what day of the week they do that on, but the big camps try not to compete with one another as far as parties go. So, one camp will have a big party one night and another camp will have it another night, and stuff like that. But
I still
Yeah,
have
I
my
mean-
blue feather.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? I ran across a picture the other day. Somebody, it may have come up in Facebook memories of us at DragonCon at Pennsic the one year that you came. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years instead of going to DragonCon, because I have to be a little bit more, I don't want to say choosy, but I can't just be throwing money all over the place going to 2 or 3, conventions or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? 2 or 3 events.
Major events.
Yeah, major events, right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now, I know a lot of people that do both. I mean, people will start talking about DragonCon while we're camping at Pennsic. Oh, what are you doing for DragonCon, this, that, and the other thing. So there is a lot of crossover, but it can get expensive
I'm sure,
very
but-
quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit ain't cheap.
Mm-mm. No, it is not. That's kind of why it kind of worked out well, because remember last year you and I I was just gonna skip Pennsic entirely and say, heck with it, I'm going to DragonCon this year. And we had talked about it and made some plans, and then the world decided to shut down, pandemic times. It's like, well, I guess we're not doing that this year. So it kind of worked out because and of course people have been out of shape about it, but the organizers of Pennsic decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and decided to postpone Pennsic again this year into 2022, where hopefully it'll be a little safer for everybody. Hopefully, we'll see if people would get their damn vaccinations. Anyhow, yeah. So that's, and they say it just kind of worked out since they're not doing Pennsic this year anyway. It's like, well, let's just
Right.
do DragonCon.
Well,
And
I am so looking forward to this. You have no idea. Well, I'm sure you do. You have
I've
an
got a
idea.
little bit of an idea. Yeah, absolutely, I do. Yeah. And honestly, I think we talked about this before, but if you want to make the effort to come up to Pennsic one year, I live 45 minutes away from the site, so easy to get there and back. You've got a nice place, green camped there. Once it's a nice camp, it's right there by the lake. It's shaded. There's usually a breeze coming in. It's relatively flat. I mean, flat
Bring
for Western
earplugs if
Pennsylvania.
you want to sleep.
Bring what?
No, I'm used to
Oh,
sleeping
yeah,
with
yeah,
noise.
Yeah.
I'm used
Yeah.
to
I
sleeping
was
with noise.
not.
Yeah, because we're technically in the quiet part of Pennsic, but when you have a bunch of people in a drum circle, it carries all across the campground.
Oh, that's
And-
not what I'm talking about.
Oh well, well
The
there is that too.
birds, the bugs.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Oh, I
That-
guess you wouldn't be used to the sounds of the wildlife up here. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's
Yep,
true. It is
and-
noisy at night. That's a good point.
The
That's
birds,
not
the
something I
bugs,
would've-
couples.
Yes, that too. Yes, because everybody is intense.
The bow
Not-
chicka bow wow.
Yes, not INTENSE, but INTENTS, intense.
Well,
See what I
both.
did there?
No, at that point, it would be both.
Yeah, well, probably true. Anyway, so so I've rambled on for a while now. So what else were we talking about? Movies and TV shows. Oh, here's a good one. So I'm a sitcom junkie. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't know if you guys are sitcom watchers or not over the years, but if you are, or if you've just seen one, or if you have a favorite, what is your sort of all-time, again, desert island sitcom, like a sitcom or a show? Let's just call it a show, not even a sitcom necessarily, a show that you could take to a desert island and watch it over and over again and never get tired of it.
Let's go with Blackadder.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
good
yeah,
one.
that's a good
Yes,
one.
Blackadder is great. Yeah. I think one of the things I love about Blackadder is that every season is sort of a different time period, different historical time period. I love that. Not a lot of shows would have ever done that, as far as I know. It's a great.
Yep,
Oh.
yep. That's I've got a lot of the damn Britcoms that we have on our server that is just, good Lord, did we lose him completely?
Yes. Nope.
Oh, wow.
That was
Oh,
Potato.
Yeah, Potato is back. And now it's cleared up. Good. Now it's non-potato. Excellent, excellent.
You talking about me again?
Yes.
Yeah, your quality.
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got Britcoms that we have on the server, and we'll create a playlist that we'll just run in the background. We'll call it Pablum. Basically, it's baby food for the ears. It's just kind of playing in the background. We don't have to think about it. So
Right.
it's like keeping up appearances, Monty Python, Mr. Bean, Red Dwarf, Are You Being Served?
Red Dwarf,
Blackadder, Coupling, Father Ted.
Coupling. The British Coupling is brilliant. I love that.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
We'll just play that for like a week or two while we're just kind of doing nothing here in the house.
And speaking of Lauren is the one that introduced me, maybe all of us, to Red Dwarf, because I had never heard of it before.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, oh, it's the greatest show ever. I'm like, I have never, ever heard or seen the show. And it's freaking hilarious, dude. I mean,
Now,
I had never heard
like
it before
Red
she
Dwarf,
brought it up. Yeah.
You like Red Dwarf?
Yeah.
It's still on. They're still recording. They're on episode or season 13 or 14. Yeah.
Really? I did not know that.
2020 was the last series that came out. It was season 13.
Holy
Man.
shit! Really?
All right. I think they picked up. But they were not making episodes for a good long while, isn't that right?
Yeah, correct.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah. I heard at some point that they were going to be making new episodes, but
They did. They made 3 new series, and if you like the first couple of seasons, and then like season 5 and 6, they started getting a little bit more big budget and kind of lost the flavor of Red Dwarf, where it was campy, cheesy, low budget. That's what the later seasons feel like. Like 11, 12, and 13. It feels like the original Red Dwarf, where it was just the boys from the dwarf.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm going to have to see if that's on, because we've got BritBox. We've got the streaming service BritBox. My sister gave us a subscription for Christmas, so I'm going to have to see if it's on there and rewatch Red Dwarf, because that's some funny shit.
Possibly. I think it was picked up by Sky TV.
Okay. Oh, for the new episodes, in other words?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll have to do some research.
And if you can't find them, I can find them for you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So Patrick, I don't know, are you much of a sitcom guy, or if not, what is just your sort of your desert island go-to show?
Well, I mean, something that would be a little bit of everything. Got to be Doctor Who.
Yeah. Okay.
And you've got years worth of content
that's
to
true.
peruse.
Like a year before I was even born.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a long fucking time.
Oh my.
Is that the right one? That's the one.
There we go.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean, Doctor Who, because you get the whole gamut of comedy to drama to, the works. So action covers everything. Best of all worlds.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's an acceptable answer. I will say,
Would
and
that
this is
be
going to be an
considered a
unpopular.
sitcom?
No, I just said shows.
He said any TV show.
I say if you're not really,
all right.
Yeah, I said if you're not really a sitcom person, your desert island show.
I'm down with that. All right.
And I will confess right now, never been big into Doctor Who. I don't dislike it. If it's on, I'll watch it. Never been it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to watch generally. Now I know that a lot of the newer seasons are on, I think, Netflix or one of the streaming services, and I can watch it anytime I want to. Just never really tripped my trigger, if you will. So Green, I know you have been a Whovian for quite some time. Would that also be your desert island show, or do you have others or more or something different?
That would be my desert island, but
Okay.
That's for me. That's kind of like the fundamental. I can't really think of a show right offhand. Well, to be honest, if I could include all of the differing series together,
Okay.
Star Trek is a big one for me. With all the different spin-offs, whether it be the original series to DS9,
Voyager.
That's my heart. I love DS9.
Yeah.
Some of my absolute favorite Star Trek characters ever. All hail Garrick.
So, just side note, Discovery. A lot of the actors from Discovery, including Michael, are going to be there this year. Dragon Con.
Oh my god, I fucking love Discovery.
Really?
I will go out of my way to get her autograph, to get that picture.
Sonequa Martin Green, I
Yes.
think is her name. Is
Yes.
that right?
Is Michelle Yeoh going to be there?
I don't
Who?
know. Michelle
Michelle
Yeoh. She played the Emperor in Enterprise
Oh no.
from the alternate
Yeah.
universe,
I know
right?
exactly who you're talking about now. No, she
She's
will
also
not.
the first captain of the Discovery.
Yes.
Yeah, the doctor or the biologist or whoever he was that did the Spore Network stuff. He's going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Anthony Rapp.
Yes.
Yes.
I follow
Man,
him
I
on.
would love to meet that man.
Yeah, he's awesome. I follow him on either Twitter or Instagram, and he's awesome.
So
would
yeah,
love to
he's
meet
going to
him.
be there as well. And there's a
Everybody
few
on that
others.
show.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I really enjoyed Enterprise. I know a lot of hardcore Trekkies are like, "Oh, it's garbage. It's this and that." I enjoyed it. It's Star Trek. I'm entertained. I like it. The acting is great, and the characters are great, and I just really enjoyed it. And they're like, "Well, why didn't it make mention of it in the original series?" It's like, well, it was a top secret ship. It wouldn't just be public knowledge. I mean, if we're talking the original series, Captain Kirk might have known about it if it was a secret project, back then. That was even before Kirk's time. So, and then they flash into the future, 2,000-3,000 years or whatever it is, maybe they never even heard of it in the higher echelons, some of the captains coming up, and they may never,
Right.
because they
Okay.
just disappeared. As far as the Prime timeline is concerned, that ship just disappeared, never to be seen or heard from again.
Well, the Discovery.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that was
building-
after the Red Angel, right?
Yeah.
Shortly after that, it disappeared. Or no, it was because of the Red Angel that
Right.
it disappeared.
Yes. The Discovery followed the Red Angel through the time thing, or
Right.
whatever it was. Yeah. Yep. What were you
So-
about to say, Green?
building on this thread, what is I do have an alternate thing. Again, if I could include all of the shows together, for me, the alternate would be Transformers. Specifically, and this is what will lead into my next statement. Specifically, the Beast Wars and the Beast Machines story arc. A lot of people have not watched Beast Wars. Now they're watching the new series on Netflix called Kingdom. And Kingdom involves a number of characters from the Beast Wars storyline. But the thing is, the Beast Wars storyline came out, it started in 96, I believe, was the first Transformers series to actually start winning serious awards. Kind of like movies have got Oscars, music has the Grammys. Well, animated shows also have their category. In particular, in season 2, there's an episode called Code of Hero. And when I watched it the first time, I remembered realizing there's something going on here, and I'm not quite catching it. So when it was done, I immediately went back and watched it again. The episode opens with one of the characters about to commit suicide.
Dang.
And that whole story arc that began in the first season really comes to a head at that point. And it's the character does die, but not by suicide. That was the first episode to win an award. Now, the rest of the series, it ran for 5 seasons. The first 3 seasons were called the Beast Wars. The last 2 seasons were called Beast Machines. And aside from the lighthearted fact that it was geared towards kids, they stayed true to the original in that this is a war story. And the show got really fucking dark, especially in the last 2 seasons. But you're talking about having everything. There's a little bit of comedy, there's dramedy, there's pathos. That series hit every button for me. And I do not get tired of watching it at all.
So if you had to pick one from all the Transformers series, that would be your one to pick. If you couldn't
Absolutely.
pick all of them, you would just go with what was it called, Beast Wars, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
The Beast Wars saga,
Okay. Yeah.
hands down.
And I'm trying to think. Go ahead.
So where I was going to go from this was to the rest of the table. If you could get further seasons on a show that you like, what would it be? Now that's assuming that you know you're going to be getting good episodes. What story, what show, what sitcom, series, what have you, would you wish they could continue developing?
Oh, that's easy for me. I'm a brown coat all the way.
Oh,
Oh, fuck
Firefly.
yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
A, Firefly.
That'd be for sure. I would say that, and for me, even though it hasn't ended yet, this is going to be the last season of The Expanse. So I would say that if we could get some more seasons of Expanse on our TVs.
So is it officially ending?
I think this is going to be their last season. Yeah, it's season 6,
Yeah,
right?
they have to.
Oh,
They
the
have
end of
to
the
because
story-
the
end of
book
the
after
books?
this. Yeah, well, no, the book after this, there's like a 30 or 40 year gap.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've got the first book in the other room, but I haven't read it yet. I've only ever
I've
seen
read
the
every
show,
book
so.
they've put out, and I'm anxiously waiting for the last book.
Yeah. So if we could get more seasons of The Expanse, I'd be all about that. But yeah, definitely.
Read the
I
book.
mean, I think I'm definitely going to read the books. So I think though that the Firefly answer is fairly universal as far as fandom goes, because
Yeah.
it was a great show that Fox just completely bungled with the scheduling, and just they just bungled the whole thing essentially. And they're like, "Well, this show isn't doing any good. We're going to cancel it." Well, no shit. You put it on a different night practically every week. You know, people it never had a chance to grow an audience because nobody ever knew when to watch the fucking thing.
Yeah.
So
how about Chernobyl season 2?
when all the workers are dead and mutated, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure where you go with that.
We've got an all new location on Chernobyl season 2.
This year, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, 3 Mile Island, right? Yeah, exactly. As far you guys look like you're about to say something. Go ahead, Peggy Tech.
You know what? I harkened back to my Britcoms that we like so much.
Okay.
Here at the house, and there was a series. It was an Irish series, actually. It was called Father Ted.
Yes.
Oh, I
And-
remember
Back
that.
off!
Love Father Ted. Yes,
Back off.
back off.
Back off!
The lead character,
Back off.
the main comedian who did Father Ted, he died right before they started the next series or the
Oh,
next
wow.
season, and it would have been so awesome to see more Father
Yeah.
Ted.
Yeah. How many seasons did they get in before he passed away? Because I've seen several episodes, but I don't know that I've seen the whole series at this point.
I want to say 3, but
Okay.
I think each season was only like 6 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, they do their shows kind of stranger because, like, for example, I always go to and I'll answer my own question. I have 2 because I am a sitcom junkie. I have 2 sitcoms that would be on the desert island with me. Friends, because I just love that show, and That 70s Show. That 70s Show is just I love that show. And I've watched both of those shows multiple times. Probably for That 70s Show a dozen times, and Friends probably not a dozen times, but if it's on TV, if I happen to flip through an episode, I'll watch it. Patty got the whole series for me on Blu-ray for Christmas, either this past year before. So sitcom wise, it would be those 2. If we're talking just shows in general, though, that is a little more difficult because overarching shows like, let's say, a Star Trek, for example, or even a Doctor Who, I have trouble paying enough attention to keep up with it and for it to keep my interest over multiple seasons. Although I got to tell you, I've really enjoyed all the Star Wars animation because I've watched pretty much all of it. I haven't seen the last 2 or 3 or whatever episodes of The Bad Batch, and I still have, I think, either a season or half season to go on Rebels. I've really enjoyed those, though. I mean, those are, I'm not a huge fan of the animation style, but the stories are compelling, and the voice acting is really good, and I've just really enjoyed those. Yeah, that would be it for me. I mean, like we're watching Vikings, and Vikings is cool. But Schitt's Creek, I'm telling you, you guys would love Schitt's Creek if you give it a chance. 'Cause it is fucking hilarious. And Patrick, I saw you roll your eyes at either Friends or That 70s Show. I wasn't paying close attention.
Friends.
Do you just not dig on that show?
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea for sure.
I'd like to see more work on The Magicians.
Oh, yes. We loved The Magicians. Yes, agreed. That would be. I don't know. Did they run out of books there? Because I mean, that is a book series. I don't know if they ran out of books on that with that show or not.
I didn't know it was based on books.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there were some books out. I don't know how many or whatever, but yes, it's based on a book series. Oh man. Well, cool. So let me see. My big news is that the contract that I am currently in will be coming to an end at the end of the month, and I will be hired on permanent with another place, and I will be working at a place where I worked at previously. So
nice. So you did. That did go through.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
fucking awesome.
So
nice.
It'll be it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be full benefits in the whole 9 yards. So.
Very nice.
Because I'm uninsured at the moment. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Great, right? 50 years old, uninsured. It's just a disaster waiting to happen.
I mean, that's
I just turned 55.
Yeah.
Man, I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it.
Well, but you're doing something about it, though. See, that's the thing.
Working toward it.
Yeah.
Also, this coming Monday, whatever the 23rd is the next visit with the dental college to get my teeth
nice.
looked at.
Good.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
They'll be taking the impressions. They were going to do it last time, but my allergies were acting up and I could not breathe through my nose.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
so,
important when you've got all that stuff in your. Yeah, it's kind of.
So
a snot fest is not a good thing to have while you're.
No, it's not. So I'm gonna do the whole sinus wash and take a hit of Afrin, man, before I go in. But we're going to do impressions and start probably, I'm guessing, the process of what it's going to be the next step. So I'm actually quite excited about it.
Nice.
It's asthma belching with Tommy.
Yes.
It was the ending that got me.
Oh, anyway, well, that's cool. Yeah, so that was my big news is the yet another job switch, but it's to a permanent position with benefits. And like I said, I think I'm going to be sitting in the exact same cube I sat in over at Alcoa. So I don't, it's it's one of those things.
No remote work, all in the office.
Yeah. It's like 70-30 home versus remote. So the company still hasn't, because a lot of companies are like, oh, send everybody back to the office. And Alcoa was just like, no, we're not doing that yet. So there are like there's hardly anybody in the physical office there. But the executives every now and then will show up to do whatever they need to do from their office, which is on the floor above where I would be sitting. And IT needs to be on site in case they have an issue. So
it's fucking executives.
I'm telling you. So it's like 70% home, 30% at the office, which I'm good with. I mean, it's fine. It's an easy, it's public transit. So I just take the bus into town and out of town every day. It's an easy commute. I can sit there and listen to, podcasts or whatever on the bus. And the next thing I know, I'm getting off the bus and going to work. So it's an easy, and I did it for several years. So it's good. It's a good thing. So it's going to be, so I'm looking forward to it, but it's kind of working out well because 30th or 31st is my last day here or there. And then I'll go to Dragon Con and then start the new job. So, yeah.
Oh, wait. So your off time is Dragon.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect, man.
Yeah.
That's your celebration.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So I finish up on either the 30th or the 31st, whatever day of the week that is. And then the 1st, drive down to your house, and then we do Dragon Con, and then I get back on that Monday. And then Tuesday, I think I'm probably at the new place. So
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to probably
Congratulations.
thanks. They're going to need me to come in and probably do some paperwork and stuff. But so yeah, it's going to be good. I say, and it's not strictly work from home, which I'm fine with. Like I say, it's an easy commute. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No
there's some
biggie.
remote work there, so
yes,
it's
yes.
not every day you're traveling to the office.
Correct. Yep. So that's good. And so that was my big news. And other semi big news, Patty K, the lovely and talented Patty K, as I call her on the air, she has one scan to do is it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. She has to go to some facility, get a scan. It's called a PET scan. I've never heard of it before, but it's called a PET scan.
Yeah, PET scan.
And assuming everything comes back okay, she probably won't have to do chemo again unless it comes back, obviously. So
Nice.
Yay!
yeah. So we're pretty excited about that, actually. So that's her big news coming up. I think it's either tomorrow or next week, but I think it's tomorrow that she's got that scan. So she's just going to drive herself over there. They don't have to shoot her up with any drugs or anything for it. So, cool. I think I'm out of things to talk about.
I find that hard to believe.
It's funny because when it doesn't matter what we're talking about. As soon as we shut down the recording, we all end up sitting around and BSing for another half hour at least, if not longer. So
You're out of things to talk about?
Wow.
Bullshit.
yeah, well, yeah. I think that holds true for all of us. I think that's a BS call for all of us. That's true.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have anything else to bring up, or or talk about or throw into the conversation, I think we could probably wrap it up for the week. And also, don't forget, everybody out there listening and or watching, the Round Table of Fools we're not going to be. Maybe we could broadcast live. That would be chaotic, but we could.
Yes, it
broadcast
would.
live.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting.
Yeah, interesting is a good way to put it.
Broadcast live when?
From Dragon Con.
Oh,
Thursday night.
Thursday night, Dragon Con.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go do dinner and then come back and set up shop.
We just need
Yeah, well, it
a.
wouldn't be the round table. It'd be more like the square end table.
No, they have round tables there.
The,
they have round
lobby,
tables, yeah.
the
They have-
corner
yeah.
of the lobby table. Of fools.
We just
No,
need
they
a-
have the tiki bar there, man. Remember?
Oh,
It's got round tables out there.
bar.
Right outside the room.
I don't remember. Oh,
Long-
yeah. At the hotel we are going to be at.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
As long as we got, as long as we got power, as long as it's not pouring down rain. And
no,
I've
it's
got a
covered.
Oh, it is. Oh, even better.
It is covered.
And as long as we've got a relatively steady network connection, or at least better than the fucking network connection here.
apparently.
I mean,
yeah.
anything would probably be better than that, but
Yeah, your
That's true.
connection was actually better before you switched.
Oh.
Because you consistently had this
Wow.
happen with every broadcast since.
Yeah.
Well, it happened before too. So I mean,
Yeah, but not as often.
it might be a Pittsburgh thing.
That's true. Could be a Tommy thing.
could be.
That's true.
Because it's not like I'm not on Wi-Fi here. I mean, I've got a wired
Yeah.
connection. I'm connected directly to the router in the other room.
Yeah.
You know, I was
So,
wrong about Dragon Con. I may be just imagining things.
well,
Probably.
yeah. But anyway, so that's an idea to kick around. If we can do it live. If not, I mean, I'll be recording the whole thing anyway. So, cool. All right. Well, let's.
Either way, we're getting something out of.
Yes.
Nice.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Green, I have not heard from your friend Brian lately, so you might.
Nor
wanna-
have I.
Okay.
Nor have I.
All right. I sent him a follow up about a week ago, and still
I
haven't
saw
heard
that.
anything. So.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it was really, no offense to anybody involved. It was really a pipe type thing.
Yeah, it was a long shot for sure.
It was. If it would happen, it would fucking fabulous. But if
Yeah.
not, it was worth a shot.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's worth a shot.
You
And
know,
we
we
haven't
made
actually.
We
Go ahead.
may actually get to Dragon Con, and Brian and Felicia will walk up to us to say so when you're ready.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Being
All right, well,
extras,
yeah.
stranger things have happened.
Is Brian supposed to be at Dragon Con?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
no, I don't know.
No, we can talk about that off the air. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter because it's fine. And like you said, if it doesn't happen, then doesn't happen, there's always next year. There's always other opportunities. So, but you gotta, Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. So,
That's right.
I figured we would take the shot.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
we haven't heard back from Brian yet. So you never know. So I'm
And-
trying to be optimistic.
And 50% of the time, you're 100% right.
That is kind of okay. Sure. Anyway. And with that, let's do some final quick plugs, and we will start with Mr. the Green Bear.
Really working on building my community again. Streaming Warframe, streaming City of Heroes, streaming just chatting and conversing,
Conversing?
something like that.
Conversation.
Yes,
Conversating?
what he said. What he.
Talky shit. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway,
Balls of steel.
Yes, that too.
The Green Bear, twitch.tv/The Green Bear. Come by, say hi. Come up and see me sometime.
Stop in and say hello. Pagan Tech.
Yes, that's twitch.tv/Pagantek, PAGANTEK. Mind the spelling because it is unique. Usually when I do get on Twitch, I'm usually streaming some sort of flight or science or something along that line. As you can see in the background, I've got Star Citizen running, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So definitely swing by twitch.tv/Pagantech. And of course, people who are watching this video are watching it on youtube.com/Pagantech. Shocking.
Shocking. And for anybody who is tuned in, thank you for sticking around this entire time to listen to us ramble on about whatever
Random
we
shit.
rambled on about. Yeah, random shit, exactly. As for me, you can find me at stnradio.com on the air and on the interwebs. So stop in, you can get the schedule there. If I'm streaming and if you would like to follow my Twitch channel, that would be appreciated. It is twitch.tv/Malignant Gnome. I've been playing some Minecraft lately. I've streamed a little bit of Fortnite. I attempted to stream Cyberpunk, but it ate my computer for lunch when I tried to do both. So not so much with the Cyberpunk until I get a better video card. Anyhow, but that's me. So stnradio.com. Yes, Green.
They just released a big new patch for Cyberpunk today.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And some of it is going to affect some of its streaming in a good way. They're
Okay.
addressing some of the streaming issues that the game has had, so you might want to take a
Beautiful.
look at the patch.
Yeah.
I will. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it was 3-point-something gigs.
Oh, wow. Okay. A big one.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
that
Well,
one.
I will definitely be installing that because the game itself is actually, well, I will admit this right now. I can't even get through, and this has nothing to do with the computer performance. I can't even get through the training simulation in this goddamn game. So yeah. So
The
and
training
Jared-
simulation or the opening chapter?
the opening, like, when the girl's like, oh, and it's you simulate, you go on the pad, then you're supposed to sneak up and grapple somebody.
Oh,
I can't
that.
figure
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
figure out how to grapple them. It's ridiculous. And Jared
always
Fulton was like,
done
I
that.
can probably help you with that. I was like, well, somebody's going to have to. Otherwise, I'm just going to be stuck in the training sim for this whole fucking thing. Anyway. So yeah,
Cyberpunk, the training sim.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
come to twitch.tv/Malignant Gnome and watch me struggle and fail. Anyway, Patrick, we will wrap it up with you. So please give us your plug.
There it is.
There we go. And for people who are listening on stnradio.com, it was a actual plug with a middle finger and a leering face on it. So make of that what you will. Yeah,
Smirking.
that was actually a smirking. Sorry, a smirking face. Yes. That was actually a good invitation there, Peggy. That was good. All right, so that'll do it for me, and I will hand it back over to Pagan Tech to sign off. So thanks everybody for listening, and take care.
And everybody, thanks for sticking around, watching this, or listening to this for the Round Table of Fools. These idiots and nincompoops and ne'er-do-wells have wasted enough of your time, and we're headed off to the sunset for tonight. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.